My name is Yewande Zacheaus. I'm the founder and CEO of Eventful Limited and also the manager of Harbour Point Event Centre in Victoria Island. I am also the convener of the Eventful Souks, Fashion Souk, Beauty Souk, Street Souk and Food Souk. Event planning is all about gathering people together. So when you have a pandemic that does not allow you to gather people together, it hit right at the root of our business. So it was very, very hard on both our events planning and our venue management business.
GET is the acronym for Global Emerging Pathogen Treatment Consortium, which is an international non-governmental organization that plays in the realm of biosecurity and One Health across Africa. From the time of the outbreak in 2014-2016, the West African Ebola outbreak, when scientists and humanists came together and they realized there was a gap that needed to be filled across Africa. We had a lot of infrastructure deficits in terms of physical structure, legislative structure, as well as a knowledge gap to attend to pathogens of serious consequence such as Ebola and COVID now being presently witnessed. A group of people came together then, identified the gap, and then decided to work actively towards ensuring that should there be an outbreak like Ebola, Africa should have capacity to be able to attend to it without recourse to going to the Western world.
You may never know the sacrifice you make to do your work. All the says thank you. I came here on holiday, a 3-week holiday, of 3 weeks since I've entered 6 months. Hell! I've literally been out here in London for 6 months now, from March till August. Okay, and the truth is, definitely coming into London at the airport, there were no checks, nothing like, checking for temperature or anything. So everybody just felt, here's another virus again that, that will just blow over in no time. But getting here, and after spending my 3-week holiday, I came into the last week, and I was trying to do my shopping, getting ready to go back to Nigeria, and all of a sudden, we're hearing of lockdown. We're like, this thing is serious. So, and before we knew it, I called my airline, trying to figure out, okay, let me see how I can get out, because everyone was trying to, quickly get out before the lockdown in Nigeria, the lockdown here in the UK, and all of a sudden I called my airline and they're like, sorry, we have cancelled your flights. I was like, what?
We actually didn't have a choice. For anybody, you have to innovate or die. For anybody who, once we realized that this was going to be quite a long-term issue, we knew we had to take some very important decisions. And clearly one of them was to begin to run virtual events. So we actually had no choice. We wanted to survive. And we were fortunate that our clients, both our corporate and retail clients, also understood this. And we've been able to have, quite a few corporate events virtually. We've had some hybrid events, which means that it's maybe you have less than 20 people and then you beam out electronically to the others. And even for our souk business, our fashion souk coming up at the end of this month is going to be a virtual fashion souk. We had no choice. If you are not ready to change, if you're not ready to pivot, then your business will die. The most challenging thing is the fact that it depends absolutely on technology over which you have no control. So no matter how great your providers are, sometimes in the middle of a service, it just goes and you're like, oh my God, what happened? So I think for me, that's just the greatest impediment in this virtual business, because you have to rely on technology a lot, and sometimes technology fails you, and it could fail at a really important moment. So we just try to do our best to make sure we use the best providers, and we pray a lot.
During the Ebola outbreak, there was a lot of concern over where to keep the samples that were collected in the course of attending to Ebola. Basically, it means there was absolutely no biobank in about the whole of West Africa. Some of the samples had to go as far as the United Kingdom, the United States of America, and at some point they even had issues about knowing exactly where the location of that sample. As a matter of fact, some of the samples ended up in the hands of some armed robbers who thought it was a material, maybe because of the way it was being transported. We had infrastructural deficit like this, and then some pathogens like this are not supposed to be handled in just any laboratory. As a matter of fact, right now in Nigeria of today, we have just about 1 or 2 BSL-3 facility that can appropriately handle pathogens like Ebola, like COVID-19 that we're dealing with now. So we had a lot of infrastructural deficits in terms of physical. And then of course the knowledge, having molecular scientists, having people who have the requisite knowledge to attend to outbreaks like this, pandemic response, emergency preparedness, emergency response. It wasn't until 2 years ago that Lagos State took it upon itself to begin to prepare personnel to gain this knowledge we are talking about, and largely Lagos has been able to move from the step of lack of to a step of almost perfect. Coincidentally, December last year was a very, very busy period for the LBBT, that is the training, because we're having back-to-back training in December up until December the 21st. As far back as December the 21st, the then technical consultant, who is now to Lagos State Minister of Health, who now happens to be the Commissioner of Health, had sent a message to us to begin to throw our attention to COVID, that this is happening in international. So we have started monitoring it as far back as December the 21st. We knew Lagos is high prone area to any global infectious disease. So we were more like prepared. We enhanced our capacity. We increased our surveillance. We went into a lot of overdrive. We had to work on this. We had to key this in. We had to bring out all our documents to see what we needed to put in place should it get into Nigeria. So as soon as we started getting the rumors, as a matter of fact, we started taking counts from January, first week in January. We started monitoring the countries it had gotten to. We started having, virtually we were doing a weekly meeting. And by the end of January, we had to convert the weekly meeting to one physical meeting in Lagos here. We had it, and then we made preparation. We assessed the things we have on ground. Then we just primed everybody, and that was it. So we're just there waiting.
I'm out here in London trying to figure out how to make, the most of the time here, while also trying to see how to create new music while I'm out here. And the truth was that it hasn't been easy, especially because I left a lot of work hanging in Nigeria. The truth is, before coming, I just released a new single with Flo Rocka, the amazing producer and artist. We just released Mowa Dupe, and we actually have a plan to release an EP. So that was just the first song. We had other songs to work on, and the two of us had said, oh, we'll continue this, and next thing, I'm here, he's there, we can't even finish the project yet. Then at the same time, of course, I left some editing. I was actually working on some edits of some of my new videos in Nigeria, which I'd already shot, and that one too is hanging. There were some parts of my business that, of course, I could still keep running from here, like being a radio host, an on-air personality. My radio show, Girls Rock with Nikki Lauye, didn't stop running because, of course, it's being streamed live. So I could record while I was out here, and it's streaming live on Praise World Radio. So that was not affected at all. My show has been running consecutively for a while now.
My name is Fisayo Bicroft, Deputy Managing Director and the Head of Events at Eventful Nigeria. Talking about the challenges as regarding pandemic, we had to change our work schedule. That's the first thing we had to do. We looked critically into how our operational procedures has been, and what we decided was, first of all, to reduce the number of days we work in the office and push everything we do online.
I have a underlying commitment to my staff. I consider them as members of my family, and they were there in the good times. We've got a role for each other in the bad times. So whilst we were not earning any income, at least at first, I feel because we've been in business for over 19 years, so we do have retained earnings, and so we really just had to ensure that we still paid our staff, albeit half salary, from myself to the cleaner. Everybody agreed that we couldn't pay full salaries, but at least, thank God, we have been paying half salaries, and we've all been managing to get by. So I'm glad that we quickly took the decisions we took to sort of just change the way we do business and run our lives, because what is important is that we know that we have to live with it for a while, so we just must be extremely sensible and practical, taking all the protocols and precautions we must, so that we can all survive this pandemic. But I'm hopeful that by the end of this year, surely things will be back to normal, or at least as near normal as they can be.
One of the measures taken by Lagos State was to ensure that none of those deployed as the front line was allowed to go back home. They had to, even for those who were residents near their houses, they were prevented from going back home. So because they wanted as much as possible to contain the disease, the virus, and then reduce the spread. So they had to get accommodation for about everybody that was involved and then people had to stay in hotels and come to work from hotel for the first 3 months of the response. When we heard the Lagos first case, well, as much as we felt we were prepared, there was a lot of fear. Not fear of not responding, but fear of the unknown, that we really did not know the extent to which it had spread. But the good thing was that it was something we had actually prepared for, even though we were acting, because as at that time you could see what was happening in the international community. Up till today, it is difficult to say exactly whether we have an attenuated form of it or we have a less pathogenic strain of the virus, because I'll tell you categorically that I saw the worst of COVID here in this center, I saw the best of COVID here in this center. In the course of going out to take sample, it got to a point where basically from the way we see a patient, we would say categorically that this is strongly COVID.
Thank God for WhatsApp, for Facebook. Thank God for all of that, because that's how I've been able to, stay in touch with my family in Canada and Nigeria at the same time. And of course, family out here as well. We've all been keeping tabs on each other, checking up on each other, calling, video calls, and all of that. So that's what we've been able to do, and making group calls, group video chats, and we laugh and, pray for one another. So that's just been the best way, of course, in this season.
So that I'm not negative and so that I'm not over optimistic, I think interesting will cover it. It's been a year of discovery. It's been a challenging year. It's been a year of humbling people, humbling all of us in so many ways. It's been a year of growth, personal and spiritual growth. So it has all in all been an interesting year, I would say.